In December, I received a dozen dividend payments from some awesome stocks and ETFs like Snap-on, Chevron, Johnson & Johnson, and SCHD. And in this video, we're gonna go through each of those payments and add them all up so you can see my dividend income for the month, and I'll also show you my total income received to close out the year here in 2023. But before we get to that, in case you're new to the channel, my name is Ryan, and here we strictly talk about dividend stocks and how you can invest in them to create passive income and reach financial freedom. So if you love dividend stocks, and if you're on a mission to retire early, then hit that subscribe button. I'd love to stay in touch as we both continue to grow our portfolios and collect that cash flow. Speaking of which, leave me a comment below and let me know which stocks paid you a dividend this month. I'd be curious to hear if we have any of the same ones. Anyway, the first payment I received this month came from Intel, who paid me $7.88 to kick off the month, and Intel has been on an absolute tear lately, guys. In the last month, they are up 11.56%, and looking at their year-to-date performance, they are up a whopping 88%. Now, as many of you guys know, I actually sold out of Intel sometime towards the end of November, so this is the last dividend payment I'll ever receive from this company, unless, of course, I decide to buy back in. And unfortunately, I missed out on all of this company's gains over the last month. I missed out on that extra 11.5% boost. Taking a look at my dividend portfolio tracking spreadsheet, which you can start using for free. There is a link to download this spreadsheet in the description of the video. I sold my entire 63 share position on November 20th when the share price was about $44.50. So like I said, I definitely missed out on some gains, but luckily I still ended up in the green just a little bit. In terms of share price, I was only at 0.4% upon selling, but on a total return basis, including dividends, I saw a 4.5% gain. Anyway, guys, moving on to payment number 2. This one came from Johnson & Johnson, who paid me $28.87, bringing our total so far for the month to $36.75. And J&J did not have a hot year. Looking at their share price performance, they were actually up in the last month, up about 3.2%, but looking at their year-to-date performance, they were down about 12%. And as J&J's share price kept going down, I was going heavy into this company, especially this last month. Just in December, I added about 7 shares, which leaves me sitting at 32.3 shares of J&J at an average cost of $160.50. And with the current share price of about $157 or so, I'm down about 2.3% just in terms of share price, but on a total return basis, it's looking a little bit better. I'm in the green, but not by much, only about 1.5%. Anyway, guys, moving on to payment number 3. This one came from Jeppy, who paid me $8.62, which brings our total so far in December to $45.37. And Jeppy is another recent sale of mine. On December 15th, I sold my 22.08 shares of Jeppy when the share price was about $55, and my average cost upon selling was a bit higher than that at $60. So in terms of share price, I took a little bit of a loss. I was down 8.7%, but with all of those dividends worked into the calculation, I came out in the green. I was up 7.56% when it was all said and done. Anyway, moving on to payment number 4. This one came from Southern Company, who paid me $12.51, bringing my total so far to about $58. And taking a look at my Southern Company position, this is not a big one for me, guys. I only have about 18 shares at an average cost of about $60 per share. So the current share price is about $10 above that. I'm seeing a pretty decent gain. I'm up about 16.8% in terms of share price, but on a total return basis, it's looking a lot better. I'm up closer to 30%. And with that, payment number 5 came from Snap-on, one of my favorite high growth dividend stocks. Snap-on paid me $16.70 in December, bringing the total so far to about $74.50. And not surprisingly, Snap-on absolutely crushed it in 2023. Looking at their share price performance in the last month, they were up a whopping 5.6%, but zooming out, looking at the year-to-date performance, it did really well. It was up 26%. And as a sidebar, real quick, guys, I know that by the time you're watching this, it is already 2024. We are probably already at least a few days into the new year. So you might be hearing me talk about these year-to-date performances and might be wondering, what the heck is going on? Why is he talking about year-to-date when we're only like 2 or 3 days into the new year? Well, I'm recording this video on December 30th, 2023. So for me, in this time period, it makes sense to use the year-to-date performance. I just wanted to clear that up in case you guys were wondering what the heck was going on. Anyway, back to my Snap-on position. I have just under 9 shares of this company. I wish I had more, but I have 9 shares at an average cost of $211. And look at the spread between my cost basis and the current share price. It is quite large, guys. And if we look at my return, I'm up about 37% in terms of share price, but on a total return basis, I'm up 42.5%. So Snap-on's done really well for me. Now moving on to the next payment, this one came from Chevron, who paid me $20.03, which brings our total so far in December to $94.61. And Chevron, unlike Snap-on, actually had a pretty poor year. Looking at their performance in the last month, they were up a little bit, up about 2.7%. But looking at their year-to-date performance, they were down quite a lot. They were down 14.25%. But my position is still sitting pretty. I have 13.25 shares of Chevron at an average cost of $93.54. So with the current share price of about $150, it means I'm up about 60% right now in terms of share price. But on a total return basis, it's up even more. I'm up 76.75%. Not too shabby. Anyway, guys, jumping over to payment number 7. This one came from Blue Owl Capital Corporation, OBDC, who paid a special dividend in December. I received $9.31, bringing our total officially over $100 for the month to $103.92. And Blue Owl has actually paid these special dividends every quarter this year, with each one being higher than the last, which is a very sweet cherry on top to their already substantial dividend. And interestingly enough, this company was actually one of my best performers in 2023 in terms of share price. In the last month, it didn't really do anything crazy. It was only up 0.8%, but year to date, Blue Owl climbed 26.7%. So like I said, really strong performance. And my position right now is looking pretty solid. I have 116.4 shares of Blue Owl at an average cost of about $13.50. And with that, the current share price is about $1 and some change above my cost basis. So that leaves me with a 9.4% gain in terms of share price, but on a total return basis, it's up a lot more, up over 29%. Moving on, this next payment came from the other business development company in my portfolio, Main Street Capital Corporation, who actually paid me 2 dividends in December. I got the regular payment for $9.23. Then I got a special dividend of $10.80, which brings our total for the month so far to $123.95. And Main Street also performed really well in 2023. In the last 30 days, Main Street climbed about 5%, so pretty solid gain there. And then zooming out, looking at the year-to-date performance, they were up closer to 20%. Very nice. And looking at my position, I have 39.25 shares of Main Street Capital Corporation at an average cost just below $39 per share. So if we scroll over looking at my return, my market return is about 11.2%, but on a total return basis, I'm up over 30%. Looking good. Anyway, moving on, guys, this next payment came from Realty Income, the monthly dividend company, who paid me $16.92, bringing our total so far in December to $140.87. And Realty Income was a pretty heavy buy for me in 2023, especially in the latter half of the year. I ended up investing over $1,800 in total into Realty Income throughout the year and purchased about 34 shares, which is about half of my current position size. As you can see, I have just over 71 shares of Realty Income at an average cost of $55.58. So I'm up just a little bit. Looks like I'm up only about 3.3%. On a total return basis, it's looking a lot better though. It's up closer to 12%, so I'll take it. And with that, guys, this brings us to the 10th payment of the day. This one came from Coca-Cola, who paid me $10.69, which brings my total so far in December to $151.56. And looking at my position, Coca-Cola is not a big one for me at all. I only have 23 shares at an average cost of about $51.50 per share. So I'm up a decent amount. I'm up 14.4% in terms of share price, but looking at the total return, I'm up about 24.5%. So Coca-Cola is doing pretty well for me. And with that Coca-Cola one, those were all of the dividend payments I received in my taxable brokerage account. But with that, I still had 2 more come in from my Roth IRA, starting with this one here, which came from SCHD, who paid me a whopping $35.40 in December, my highest SCHD payment so far. But this brings the total so far in December to $186.96. And looking at my SCHD position real quick, I have just over 51 shares, and I have a goal to reach 100 shares by the end of 2024. So we'll see if I can hit that. But anyway, my average cost is $73.21, which means that I am up about 4% with SCHD right now, and on a total return basis, I'm up just over 7%. And then, guys, to close out the month of December, this last payment came from VU, the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, who paid me $10.47. And looking at my position, I don't have a huge VU position, only about 6 shares, but my average cost is looking pretty nice, $394 per share, which means that I am up 10.63% on VU right now. On a total return basis, I get a little bit of a boost there. I'm up 12.2%. 3.2%. But anyway, guys, with that VU payment, that brings my total dividend income for December to $197.43, which is a 15.6% increase compared to this time last year, where I brought in $170.86. And with that, to close out the year, guys, my total dividend income received in 2023 was $2,235.17, which is a 25% increase compared to my total dividend income in 2022, where I brought in $1,790.33. So quite a big jump year over year. And that, in a nutshell, guys, is what happens if you just keep investing into your portfolio and keep reinvesting your dividends to buy even more shares of these dividend-paying stocks and ETFs. You will see these increases in your passive income year over year, which is one of the reasons I love dividend investing. It may not be the fastest way to build wealth, okay? You may not always see explosive growth with dividend investing, but it is one of those things that just keeps getting better the longer you do it. Anyway, as a brief recap for 2023, here are a couple of fun facts about my portfolio throughout the year. This first one is my largest individual payment in 2023, which came from Altria Group, who paid me $50.15 in the month of October. And the second fun fact, the stock that paid me the most throughout the year, was also Altria Group. In total, throughout 2023, Altria paid me $194.45. And moving on to this third fun fact, my highest income month in 2023 was in November. So just a couple of months ago, guys, I received $230.92, which is the highest amount that I've ever received in any given month. So that was really cool. And with that, guys, now that we've taken a look at all of my dividend payments from this last month and have tallied up the total for the entire year, I want to switch gears and show you which companies are going to be paying me this month here in January to kick off the new year. And to do this, we are going to be using GetQuinn, which is a new portfolio tracking platform I started using about a month and a half ago, and I absolutely love it. If you're looking for something more than just a spreadsheet to track your portfolio, then I definitely think this is worth checking out. GetQuinn has one of the best looking interfaces I've ever seen, and it's a great tool for keeping track of all your portfolios, all of your holdings, and all of your dividend payments in one place. And you can check it out for free. There is a link to GetQuinn in the description of the video. And if you end up making an account, be sure to shoot me a follow over there. My username is just Ryan, so it'll be pretty easy to find, and I'd love to connect with you guys on the platform. Anyway, taking a look at all of my dividend payments for January, guys, we are kicking things off with a couple of really solid payments here on the 10th. One from Altria Group coming in at $50.15, and then the second one coming in from KRC. I should be getting about $41.60 from them. And with these two payments combined, guys, we are looking at a really solid day. We're looking at about $91, maybe close to $92 just in one day from dividends. And then a couple days later on the 12th, I'll have three more payments coming in. This will be another really solid day. This first payment on the 12th is coming from Blue Owl Capital Corporation. Should be getting $40.74 from them, along with another $18.25 from none other than Realty Income. That'll be really sweet. And then the third payment on this day will come from Main Tree Capital Corporation. We're looking at $9.42. And with these three combined, we're looking at maybe $67, $68 just in one day. So we have two really solid day dividends in January. And then we are going to be closing out the month on the 16th with a payment from WP Carey, who should be paying $32.77. And that'll bring my total in the month of January to about $193. So all in all, it should be a really solid month. And with that, guys, if you're in the market for some cheap dividend stocks, then check out this next video right over here, where I'm telling you about three of them, all of which look like great pickups right now in the new year. So click right over here to check them out, and I'll see you in the next one.